Silver Skull Gamer back for an update. So you guys, my last video I think was a product review from Pop Goes the Monkey. Well, now you can start to see what some of those pieces are going to look like, or starting to look like with paint on them. This is a plastic Catapracti Terminator for my 18th Legion Army with the Pop Goes the Monkey Terminator shoulder pads. The old ones, though, I believe, as you guys remember from my last video, he had to redo the symbol to look more, well, to look exactly like this. Sorry, getting a mirrored. There we go. To look less like the Games Workshop, the Forge World icon. So, which I actually really like these. I like the design. So, but some of these pieces were bought before then, so they still resemble the Games Workshop / Forge World icon. So this, I've actually painted a whole bunch, base coated a whole bunch of plastic Marines and Terminators with this color. It's a base coat, well, a Vallejo gray primer, then Vallejo Model Air steel, and then Model Air, Model Air gun base coat, and then Tridenzenithal highlight of Model Air steel, but it's not enough contrast. I don't know that you can really see any contrast in the metallics under the Tamiya clear green acrylic, which is giving us this, and it's really shiny, and it is green, and it's definitely metallic. But I think it's a little too bright. I got to figure out. I actually ran out of Tamiya green on the first batch, which was quite a large batch of models probably. And I'm using the biggest needle on my airbrush for base coating, so I'm probably getting some wastage for sure. But so I've actually got two more bottles of the clear green just came in a day or two ago, which I'll probably use all those up too, because I got some. I'm gonna start getting into vehicles, some dreadnoughts, some drop pods, stuff like that. So, but the point of this video is kind of some lessons learned. So I'll grab this tactical guy, Mark IV tactical. Maybe, no, oh. So, let me study my arm here. So, lesson learned is when you're painting Marines, if the shoulder pads are not going to be your base color, leave off the shoulder pads. The shoulder pads, I wasted paint basically on the shoulder pads because the only part that was going to be metallic was going to be gold, and there was literally no green on the shoulder pads. So that was kind of a waste of paint, really, and effort. But also the shoulder pads start blocking when you're using an airbrush, well, even a bristle brush. The shoulder pads start blocking the neckline and actually kind of help block the chest, even though obviously the weapon and the arms block the chest more than the shoulder pads. But when you're using an airbrush and you're trying to do the base coat with broad angles and you're not trying to waste a lot of time, the shoulder pads block a lot. So any further Marines that are not assembled will not have shoulder pads on, because, like I said, they're not going to be silver metallic or green, so there's no sense in leaving them on the models to waste that paint. And it'll make it easier to do especially the Mark IV with these harnesses or the cabling, exposed cabling. That's going to get difficult to do. None of these Marines are finished, real quick, by the way. This is still work in progress. You can tell the gold on his faceplate is only like one thin layer. The green's bleeding through. But this is my test batch of models. So, big lesson learned is... let's see if we can get them in focus. Leave off the shoulder pads. For tactical Marines. And Terminators, it's not so bad. But even then, when you get a big honking beefy shoulder pads like these Catapracti pads, they do kind of hinder you from getting in around the head area a little bit, those underarms, stuff like that. But Catapracti, if I remember right, the shoulder pad and arm thing's kind of janky anyways, so maybe just leave the arms off the Terminators and then glue them on later. But so shoulder pads, leaving off bits that really are not getting your base coat at all. And I've been struggling with the backpack scheme for Salamanders, so I've got... I'm going to test some things. So, like, we've got a Mark III. No, it's Mark IV. So, a lot of Salamander schemes don't have green on the, or even metallic, some of them, on their backpacks at all. A lot of them are just black. But, like, again, I used a lot of green, so I don't really want to waste it. So I'm trying to figure out how to mix colors. Somebody suggested even like having each squad, their backpack slightly different, which I kind of like that. So I'm probably going to go with that. Like I'll have a squad with just a black vent cover on top, maybe, and then another squad with just the black side vents, exhaust vents, and then I don't know, something else, for the third squad of TAC Marines, so they can easily be identifiable. And even though this is 30K, like all TAC Marines are the same, basically, except your sergeants, it'd still be kind of nice to have some distinct squad coherency. So, other than painting, more easily identifiable. Just look at them from the top and be like, okay, that guy goes with the squad or whatever. But depending on what you're doing, like, if you're just doing all black backpacks, you could have left them off. And then, the backpacks block a lot as well. A lot of these guys, you can actually, you can kind of tell how thin the green is between the backpack. You can see how light, there's a very thin layer of green on his back because it's hard to get to. The shoulder pad and the backpack in the way. It just did not get good coverage. So, speaking about trying to cover up stuff, grab these. Vallejo Green Ink, game color green ink. Actually played with that to cover up some thin spots on this guy, and I think it works really well, actually. The color is spot on. You dilute it a little bit, of course, because that's ink and not a wash, so you have to make the wash. But the Vallejo Game Ink green is pretty much a perfect match. But it doesn't really provide a lot of shading, which I found out. So then I tried Vallejo Game Ink black green, and I still don't really see much shading. It's a little better. Let's see if we can. It's a little better. You can kind of see some shadow around the raised areas, but it's still not a lot. So I still have to play with that. Like, I don't want these guys to be super dingy. Like, I still want you to be able to tell that they're metallic green. I kind of want them to stand out from 3 or 4 feet away. These are not going to be heavily weathered. That's not really my style anyways. If I was doing like a diorama or something, I would probably go more into weathering and damage and stuff to make them look realistic. But as game pieces, I kind of like them to stand out from a few feet away and you can tell pretty clearly what they are, you know. I don't know. That's just my personal philosophy on gaming pieces, right? And I guess part of it is I don't have the patience or time to make each piece. It's a display piece in its own right. So, let's see if we can see the back. I mean, there's a little shading. I don't know. I'm gonna have to experiment more with washing to get more of the detail to pop in the recesses. I may just have to do a straight black wash. I'm not sure. So we'll see. The base of the gold right now is Vallejo Liquid Gold, Old Gold, which is really nice, but you got to use alcohol. So that's a whole nother thing that if you don't have easy access, well, coronavirus, right? And normally, but I think in some countries or some areas, regions, you can't even get 91% isopropyl alcohol, but you need, I mean, I guess you can use 71%, which is more common, but everybody says the higher percentage on the alcohol when you're using those true metallic paints is better. So yeah, so that's how the gold's starting anyways. And I like it. It goes on a little thin, so it's going to take multiple coats on some things. The next thing is kind of playing with the Dragonscale elements. There we go. So obviously green on green, nope, not going to work out. I really liked the base coat of this shoulder pad at first. It's called, actually it's a Vallejo Game Extra Opaque Heavy Gray, which I was like, well, that's weird, you know, heavy gray, but it's a green tint. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it has a green tint to it, a greenish hue. But then I put the black green ink over it, and I'm like, too green. So I think I'm going to restart all the scale cloaks, scale shoulder pads, and go with a brown. Maybe a black to a brown. Crocodiles, from what I've seen, are more of a gray color, but North American alligators, they're like a black. Like, they're so darkly green that they're black, but if you really pay attention to like the tips of their scales and stuff, there is green there. But I need something to contrast more with green. You don't want too much green. I've seen a lot of people do reds. Saw a really interesting, like a Praetor model, I think. Somebody, or maybe it was even Vulcan. Somebody did blue, which I was like, wow, that really stands out. But I think I'm going to go with brown. Some sort of form of brown for the scaly bits to make them pop out. The Sergeant's Crest, I'm actually thinking about doing white. Like I said, I kind of like these. I like these miniatures to pop from the tabletop. I kind of like stark contrast. Red's very Christmassy. I don't want to fall into that trap. And a lot of people use red. I'm thinking about going white. Let me know what you think about crests on a Salamander's Army to make it stand out. Thinking about doing white. So that's about it. I'm still working on this, playing with it, but I wanted to share some things I'm running into. So, like I said, leave the shoulder pads off. Look at the paint scheme of your army if you're doing Marines. If your shoulder pads are not going to be matching your base coat or anything, leave them off, because especially if you're doing an airbrush, because they just get in the way, they block stuff, and you're wasting paint and time on them. Then if you're doing the metallic paint job, go for a exaggerated contrast on your metallic undercoat. So I just ordered some of this. Oof, the glare on that. Vallejo acrylic metal color. Where's that? Magnesium. Magnesium's actually pretty dark. And this actually has a agitator in it. which is really cool. It has an agitator in it. I haven't been painting in so long that Vallejo's got some stuff I didn't even know they had. So I'm going to do the magnesium, and then probably a Model Air chrome highlight to go really stark contrast. So when the green comes down, there's much more natural shading, because like you can tell it's a very uniform base coat. Like there's really no zenithal highlighting at all. So I'm kind of struggling here. Luckily, I haven't painted any of my expensive Forge World. I've only bought like 3 Forge World units, but I haven't painted any of the Forge World as sculpts because I wanted to test first. So my second batch of models is going to look a lot better, and my specialized units are going to look better because I haven't even started any specialized units except for the breachers. Technically they're specialized, but I'm actually going to end up having a second set of breachers thanks to Pop Goes the Monkey. He's sending another set of shields, which is awesome, for the review I did on all this stuff. So I'm going to have 2 sets of breachers, which I love breachers. I don't care if they suck in the game. Like, they're really awesome looking. Oops. So anyways, off track. So if you're going to do, like, who does this? Alpha Legion looks really good in this style. Thousand Suns and Salamanders, I think, are really the only guys I've seen do the metallic paint jobs. So if you're going to do any of those and attempt this, I guess you could do Ultramarines blue. That would probably look good. Or Blood Angels, I guess you could do technically. I've never seen. I've just really seen it on Alpha Legion, Thousand Suns, and Salamanders. So if you're going to do it, when you do the metallic base coat, go heavy on the contrast of your metallics so you have natural shading. So when I use this magnesium, hopefully, the back side of the miniature, anywhere that I don't want really highlighted is going to be much darker. So not quite so comic book style, I mean, they're going to pop, but I don't know, it's a little too bright, but we'll see. Also, I actually need to recoat some of these guys because I started running out of acrylic green, and the coat's too thin. So probably maybe an extra layer of Tamiya green would have helped as well, but the contrast really still wouldn't be there. You don't have natural zenithal shading. So shoulder pads, zenithal. That's pretty much it. Like I said, still trying to figure out how to do this, the best process, the best way to go about it. But I'm kind of really excited to get back in the hobby. I know I still have, like a lot of us, I still have 4 unfinished projects. I'm not going to pan the camera to the rest of the desk. The actual hobby section of my desk is a mess. And let's see, 1, 2... Well, there's for sure 2 unfinished projects scattered all over my desk already. So pieces from unfinished projects. And I keep this guy on my keyboard as like motivation. Like, hey, if you freaking start finishing stuff, you can eventually get to some 40K Thousand Suns, which will be metallic blue. So just want to share that with you guys. Show you the Pop Goes the Monkey stuff with some paint on it. And I'm really excited about it. It looks great. I can't wait to start finishing these paint jobs, get my process down. Let me know what you think about the backpacks, power packs on the tacticals, and any other tips you guys might have. So I guess that's it. I'll get back to you guys soon with some more updates. And that's it. It's good to be kind of back at it. Talk to you guys later.